Okay, so today I'm going to show you how to make products, 3D products to potentially find clients. So this will be the second video I do that's like this. So let me show you the product that I decided to find. This perfume bottle was very interesting to me, so let's make this perfume bottle in Blender. So for this design, we're not going to copy this design exactly. We're going to probably make something similar to this, but I just like the design of the bottle, so I'm going for that. So let's just get started. Let's jump in here, start with some shapes. How about we start with the sphere looking shape here. So yeah, I'm just gonna grab a shape that looks similar to that. Let's start with a sphere, and I'm just going to move my image towards the center so I can have it there. That. And then I'm going to drag this up. And yeah, we're just going to start blocking out, you know, the shape of our perfume bottle here. So yeah, if you're interested in seeing more videos of me showing this, then just let me know in the comments, or you know, just let me know what you think about it, and I'll start doing these more often, or I'll just continue doing these. But this is going to be the start to, you know, potentially finding clients. And I think it's important to find a niche. So it took me a long time to really figure that out in the beginning, to determine like what type of niche or target, like market, I want to serve. And in this case, I like perfume. So if perfume is target niche or market that you want to serve, then I would focus just on one and create products that are in that target market, and that'll make targeting a lot easier. But anyway, let's just continue with the bottle. So now we're going to make this part, give the, just, you know, blocking it out. Looks like there's a little bit of something happening here, so we'll model that in as well. I'll just do E for extrude and just give it a little definition and start to bevel the edges here. I notice right here, let's see, it kind of comes up like this a little. It's kind of hard to see from here, but it comes up like that, and then it kind of does that. I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell from here. My eyes might be tricking me here, but okay, so this is the start, or this is going to be the start of our bottle. We're going to model the inside of the bottle as well, which is the spray, the part where it sprays. So let's model that now. So now we're modeling the part of the spray that sprays. Even though you can't see this, I still think it might be important to have that, because if we were to animate this and show that, then, you know, it just would make more sense. It'd be more realistic. So I'm going here and I'm clicking on Loop Tools. You can enable this add-on by going to your preferences and just searching for Loop Tools under here, and it will come up under Mesh. But I'm right clicking my mouse and I am clicking on Loop Tools. I'm clicking Circle, and that's going to give us a nice circular shape here. We click on this little drop down, we can change the settings a little bit to make it work, because you can see what's happening when we flatten this out, and we obviously don't want to do that. So let's undo that, and let's see, we can play around with the radius a little. The radius, let's see here, I don't want to destroy like my geometry too much, so what I actually am going to do is click on I to inset the selection. I'm just going to protect our geometry here, and then I'll click on Loop Tools, Circle, and then that'll just protect our geometry. Now, unfortunately, it's not enough circularity to create a perfect circle around here, so we may have to do this a few times to get that circular shape we're trying to achieve. And so I'm just playing around with the angle, you know, until we get something we like. And now we can play around with the radius to create a smaller circle. If we're happy with that, then now we can just click on E to extrude in, and there. We can delete those spaces, and now we have that. But I'm actually not going to delete those spaces. I'm just going to extrude it in, and bam. So this is the part of the perfume that, you know, sprays out. Now we have to model the little tube that comes down from it, so we'll do that as well. Again, it's kind of hard to see in this reference, but realistically every perfume bottle has, you know, some kind of tube to spray out of, you know, so we can model that now. So let's just turn everything else back on, and I'm actually going to make that a little bit, let's see here, I'm going to delete, I probably should delete some of the geometry, because this is quite a bit of geometry for such a simple mesh, so I'll do that. Some shapes here. So for the tube, I'm just going to model out basic shapes. I don't have any real reference for this, but I think we all have an idea of how, you know, a tube would look inside of a perfume bottle. We have a pretty good sense of how that would look, so I'm just going to do that. And I'm actually going to grab a curve tool, and we're going to make the inside of that tube. So I'm just going to rotate this and drag it down, and just drag it down to where it hits the bottom of the tube, of the bottle, and you can rotate it a little bit, something like that, you know. So if you looked at a perfume bottle, this is how that little tube inside the perfume bottle would look. You know, again, for this reference, it's kind of hard to see that, but typically most perfumes have, you know, some kind of tube or something in it, like this. So I'm just, you know, creating that. Now we're gonna give this some thickness. So I'm gonna go to the curve, and then I'm gonna click on geometry, and I'm gonna round this out. Could make it pretty thin. We don't want to make it too large, so I'll just keep it at around point 0.2, maybe 0.2, something like that. That's pretty cool. It's not a big deal in this case since we're not going to really see it, but I'll just keep it at like that, and there you have it. So, you know, this is a quick block out of the bottle, and now we're going to get some textures on this. I'm going to add some more details to this, and we're going to start working on the logo in Photoshop. Before we go into 2D software to make logo, let's model the actual logo in here. So I'm going to turn my subdivision off for a second, and I'm just going to grab my reference, turn that back on, and just create you know, a separate mesh for the logo so that we can get the best resolution out of this texture, because we're going to want to put this on a separate UV map, you know, so it really has the best resolution possible. So let's make the seams for that, and let's just create a texture for this logo. So to do that, I'm just gonna select the faces right here. Careful not to select the faces in the back of the mesh, but we're just gonna select these faces in the front here, like this, something like that. Something like that, and then we're gonna go in our UV editor, and we're gonna export the UV maps for this, and we'll bring this into a 2D software. I've actually decided to use Canva because they have some pretty cool templates on there. So yeah, you can use any 2D software that you want, though it doesn't really matter. But I'm gonna press P, or actually I'm gonna duplicate this selection by pressing Shift D like that, and then I'm going to press P to separate the selection, and that's going to give us a nice little logo here that we can use for our design. So now I'm going to unwrap the UVs for this, so I'm going to click on U and simply just unwrap it. We can get the most resolution out of this design. Now, something else I forgot to do was give this some thickness, because everything in the real world has, you know, some kind of thickness to it. Also have to still give the bottles some thickness, so let's go back and do that. So let's click on our mesh and click on solidify and give this a little thickness. Let's go offset 1 and just give it a little thickness. Let's do 0.01 or 0.00. Make it really, you know, paper-like. Make it look like paper, right? And then what happens, though, unfortunately, when we turn on our subdivision, is that we lose our edges here. So what we're gonna have to do is we're either going to have to apply a crease, or we're going to have to bevel these edges once we apply this modifier. So yeah, so I want to give this bottle some thickness. You can see what's happening, you know, on the inside of it. You can see there's some other details happening here, so I want to emphasize that. So I'm gonna solidify the mesh and just give it a little thickness. So let's see. Click, I got my mesh selected, and we're just applying the solidifier here. And you can see what happens when we do that. We have a little offset here. We want to be very careful with this. So let's see, offset. We don't want to go too far. We might want to push this back in a little bit. There we go. We don't want to go too far off because that'll create an issue for us. So I'm gonna go something like that. I don't want to create too much of an offset there. Go. I don't want to do that either because that might create an issue. Okay, that'll work for now. Just got to be very careful with this edge here. We don't want that to cause an issue. So we got to be very cautious about that. I'm just pushing that in a little bit so that it doesn't do what it was doing. Let's just do like 0.2 right there. Alright, just giving this some thickness. So I totally forgot to model the liquid part of the perfume. So let's model that. So for the liquid, I'm just going to simply grab the top of these faces here, and then I'm going to go all the way down to about here. I'm assuming this is where the liquid starts and this is where it ends. Something like this for the liquid. And then I'm going to go Shift D to duplicate it, and then I'm going to press P to select it, and we're going to call this liquid. And then for the liquid, we can just scale it in a little bit so that it's inside the bottle, so it's not interfering with our mesh. So I'm just going to do that. There we go. And now we have our liquid for our mesh here. So yeah, this is the liquid. Yeah. And now for the rest of the bottle, just keep adding more details. So right here you can see there's a bit of an offset between the liquid and the glass, like at the bottom. So I want to create that effect in the glass. So to do that, I'm going to select this part of the bottle and duplicate it, and go press P to separate the selection. I'm going to do the same thing I did for the liquid and just scale it in a little bit. And that's going to give us that that glass looking effect that we're trying to achieve. Alright, so now that we have that fixed, now we're going to work on our logo. So now we go up here. We created a UV for this. I'm going to have to redo that now though, because earlier, remember, we had to, add some edges to this. So I'm just going to unwrap it after I apply the scale. It's not going to let me unwrap it unless we have some seams in here. So what I'm going to do is select, or you know what, I can just do a smart projection and that'll unwrap our mesh. The only part of the mesh we really need for the logo is probably this front face, because this is where the design will go. So we only really need this part. So I'm going to select these faces, and I'm going to do a cylindrical projection. Let me see. I hope it doesn't try to overlap. Maybe I'll unwrap it. There we go. Okay, I'm just going to unwrap the mesh. And that's going to give us this. I don't know where this goes to. I think this is other edge. Yeah. Okay. Not sure what this is, but I think this is the edge. See if I can clean this up a little bit. Just straighten this out. Okay, straighten out that edge. Not too concerned about the UVs because, you know, yeah, I'm not too concerned about the UVs in this matter, so I'm not too worried about them. But we basically just want to get a nice projection for our texture, and so this works. Let's see, I think this is the front part of the logo, and then this is the back, but again we really only can see the front, so it doesn't really matter. We don't really need all that other stuff. I'm just straightening these out a little bit, or planing these up a little bit. Okay. So this would be the set of UVs that we export. So I'm going to select them, and I really want to try to get the most resolution possible out of this. So I want to try to get the most resolution as possible out of this. Alright, so I'm going to click on UV, and then I'm going to go to export UV and just export it to my computer, and we're going to open this up inside of Canva or any 2D software of your choice. So here we're on Canva, and you can search for whatever logo design you want. I don't want to create the same exact logo as the brand because, you know, that might be copyright issue, so we don't want to do that. But let's search for a logo to put on our perfume bottle. The idea is we want to mimic the product that we're creating. We don't want to copy and, you know, create the same exact design, but we want to just mimic the design of it. So let's just search for logo template to use to start off with. We can just type in logo up here, and it'll give us a whole bunch of templates that we can use to just start off with. Again, we're going with perfume, so I'll choose something that's very similar to, you know, to the design we have here, which again, it doesn't have to be the same exact design. Could even look for like a perfume label template here, so we could choose any one of these, okay, and throw it on our bottle. So let's go with let's see. Avery. Okay, I kind of like this one, so we could choose it. So now we'll have to import our UVs because we're obviously going to want to see where this fits on our UV maps. So we're going to import those too, and we're just going to match it up with our UV map. So let's go to uploads, and we'll upload the UV map that we exported out of Blender. So figure out where I saved it. So I'm just going to group everything together here. I'm going to rotate this about 90 degrees. And then I'm going to get my, I'm going to pull my UV map back up. And I'm going to scale it up. And I'm going to push this to the back. I'm going to grab my design, and I'm going to scale it down to match right about where our UV map is going to be. So right about here is where our UVs are at. And we can keep playing around with this. We can re-import it in Blender just to see how it looks. Okay, I'm going to make sure we don't have this on when we export this because we don't want this to show up on our texture. So I'm just going to click this little trash can to delete it. And yeah, so this is what it would look like. And then I'm going to now okay, this is just for the logo. Okay, we only wanted to cover this part of the logo, but we don't want to have all this because this might show up green, which is what we don't want. So for this part, I'm going to make it white. You can make it whatever color you want, or you could just simply delete the background, but I'm just going to make it white, and then I'm going to share this and download it as a PNG. If you have Canva Pro, you could have a transparent background, but you also could just export this image into like a remove background, which is free, and that'll remove the background. Or you could export it into Photoshop and remove the background. But in this case, we're going to have a white background, so I'm going to download this and wait on it to download to my computer. And then we'll import this into Blender. We're back in Blender, so now I'm just going to open up that image. I'm going to go open and click on, let's see, where did we save it? Let's see where we saved it. And I'm not going to record this part. Open up the image on my desktop here, and bam. Okay, and you can see it fits right where our UVs are, which is exactly what we want. Alright, so let's just hope it shows up like that on here. So now let's create a texture for this label. We need a material, so we're going to go to material, and then we're going to go to base color and change that to image texture. You can also do this from the shader or shading window, but I'm gonna do it from here and just go image texture and open. And I'm gonna open up the image, the label here, and then to view this, click on Z and material preview, and that'll allow us to preview our material. So you can see it's off a little bit, and that means that our logo might be a little too big, so we're gonna have to scale it down a little bit. Alright, I just had to flip my faces, and that seemed to fix this issue. I'm gonna drag this out just a little. There we go. And there's our design. There's our logo. We're gonna have to, hold on, just realize what I did here. Sure, it's all selected. For some reason these faces are interfering with the mesh. It's kind of weird, but that's fine. Got some shading errors here. Some weird stuff shading with the shading happening here. Alright, there's our logo. And now we can apply some more materials. So let's work on our bottle now. And we'll create a little scene for this. And this will be the start of a product. And this product could be, posted, and this could, show that you have a skill, and company sees this, they might like it. So that's the purpose of this, to potentially get clients that have similar products to this bottle. Alright, so now let's create another material for this. I'll just make it black. You can make it whatever material you want, but I'm just going to make it black. Turn that roughness down a bit. Do like 0.2. And then, let's see. So we have the liquid inside. So now let's work on the glass part of the bottle. So for glass, I'm going to make new material. I'm actually going to do a transparent shader. And I'm going to do a level or a layer weight because it gives us a really nice glass looking effect. Bear with me because alright, layer weight, Frenzel. You could also come up here to the shader here. If you have Blender kit, I can leave a link to this Blender kit in the description, but this allows you to have a wide variety of different materials, models, scenes that are already pre-made for you to just literally drag and drop onto your model. So if you don't want to sit here and try to design this glass, you can actually just come up here and type in glass, and you can find a whole range of different materials that are already pre-designed for you to just simply drag and drop onto the model. So let's see what we can find here, or we could try to make it on our own, but why not use all the pre-assembled textures up here? So let's see what we can find. We're gonna grab a glass material here. Let's see here. And we're gonna throw this on our bottle. And what's nice about this is you can kind of get a sense of how they made it, and you can see all the different nodes they used, which can be helpful. But let's see what we like, and yeah, let's make our glass. Let's just work on the glass. Okay, that looks cool. So just pick a glass texture that you like, and then next up we'll work on the lighting and create a nice little scene in a render for this bottle. Alright folks, so here's the result of the product. So now we just need to make a nice little render for this, so let's work on that. And let's get some lighting set up. So let's go to layout and let's do that. So tons of tutorials online, obviously, on how to, make lighting. So if you struggle with that, then it might be your best take to go and watch some of those. But because this definitely isn't going to be a lighting tutorial, but here we go. So let's just set up a little scene for this product. And I'd say the best advice is to actually go online and just look up the product, like look the product up online and look at the scenes that they create, like for their products. Look at advertisements, because those are also really good inspiration to use to create a nice scene. So the perfume bottle is just on this white background, which can work, but it's kind of boring. So I want to create an interesting looking scene for this. So let's do that. Let's see here.